You need to listen to this if you are a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur. So much great information is about to come your way. And specifically when it comes to sales, when it comes to closing business, when it comes to moving your business along. And she is the founder of Closers Get Sales. Calynda joins us on the program. Calynda, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm excited because along with many different things, I am a small business owner. And one of the toughest things to do is to close. When you got a potential client on the line and you're almost there and you just don't get the deal done or even getting business. I know that you offer free information sessions for business owners. How do you work with people and how do you help business owners and entrepreneurs get it done?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking. I know a lot of times when business owners, they're paying for leads or they're doing marketing things or maybe it's even a referral, a lot of clients or leads call, and then the hope is that they're going to buy, right? And there's that little piece of desperation in there, just wanting to be able to make the transaction happen. And there's good reason for it. There's a lot of expenses involved with generating leads for any small business, and there's blood, sweat, and tears. If you've spent one day as an entrepreneur, your time doesn't necessarily guarantee you're getting paid. Correct?
Oh, yeah. You could put in so much effort and even expense in terms of the way you market yourself and put you out there, but you might not see. You know what? I'm going to say it. Expect not to see a return because when you do, it's like, oh, how refreshing. It worked.
Yeah. And then the next thing that happens is in order to try to fix that, people are reading books in order to figure out how to make the sale or who moved the cheese, or there's like Wolf on Wall Street, right? I got my coffee, so there's so much sales information out there. And if you look really closely at all of that sales information, it's all different ways to manipulate people into buying, right?
Mm-hmm.
When is the last time you like to be manipulated?
I know where you're going with that. And you have to make it in such a way, right, that it has to seem logical to the person that you're selling to.
People love to buy. They hate to spend. They hate to be scammed. They hate being chased. And so what happens is, in any kind of relationship that you're trying to develop, did you go to the bar back in the day when we were younger?
Oh, yeah.
Did you go up to the cutest girl in the bar and ask her to marry you before you got her first name? Salespeople do it all the time. It's the creepiest thing ever. I remember I went to a car dealership. One time my vehicle had to be in for repair. And I've worked in sales for a long time, almost 30 years. And it just drives me crazy when people come up and they're just, okay, are you buying a new car today? No, the last one I bought from you is in service. Okay, how can I get more money, right? Like that's kind of the desperation that comes from some salespeople, especially people that are struggling, right? If you're in starvation mode, is what I call it, or survival mode, you do a lot of desperate things in order to be able to generate revenue because there's bills to pay and you have to survive, right? But at the end of the day, if you want to be able to thrive and you want to be able to have the revenue that supports the lifestyle that you want, you have to be able to transition from sales to closing. That means you get to sleep at night because you're not scamming anyone. You're not pitching them something that they don't need. You're not making it all about you. You're actually serving people that become raving fans. And when you can do that, you don't have to spend as much on advertising because word spreads like wildfire, right? When you have those kinds of referrals in 2022, nobody trusts anybody anymore. Go look at the statistics. It's like bottomed out. So, man, I don't go to my cupboard to get the ingredients to make a recipe if it isn't a 5-star review. 4 to 5 ain't going to cut it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Unless I read a whole bunch of the remarks. But if there's a 5-star review and multiple, I trust, right? Same thing with a T-shirt. I won't buy a T-shirt because A, I don't know if the sizing is right. B, I don't know if it's made cheap. Number 3, I don't know if it's going to be delivered. Because trust is at an all-time low, you have to have credibility. So when you start the beginning of any relationship with a client built on trust, you have integrity all the way through, you finish it off with a 5-star review, get more of those. Life's pretty good, right?
We could go on for there's so much to talk about here. It really. Let's go there for just a moment. When it comes to reviews, how do you approach let's say a happy client in getting one? Sometimes it feels a little awkward. Sometimes you don't want to annoy them. I feel you got to make it easy for them, kind of turnkey. Click this link and there you go. Any thoughts on that to get it done? Because you're 100% right. Getting review and listen, you already have them as a client. You already did business with them. You could reciprocate and leave a great review for them. But what are your thoughts on that?
That is way too long for me to get into today, but I do cover that inside of the program. The other thing is when it comes to reviews, usually it's not just the one on the Google, right? So a lot of the comments, you can screenshot them and put them on your, like if you have a Facebook group or you have any kind of information that a client has given for feedback, you can always screenshot it and add it to your marketing material.
Yeah, and do it in such a way that you're not throwing in somebody's face. More of a champion with me. Like, for example, screenshot that review, or even just use a couple of words from it, and you could do a post on LinkedIn or even Facebook, wherever, and say, I love helping people succeed. It makes me so happy. Or I love working with people. It is my passion. Something like that. So it's not like you're stuffing that review down somebody's throat.
No, and if you have a Google Ads account, I mean, you can always add those screenshots to your Google profile so people can see it too, right?
Sure. Well, you should be harnessing the power of your Google listing because it's free. So it's there. What is the true difference between selling and closing? Because I think even if you're a sales pro, you might not even pick up on that. Any quick thoughts on that? Yeah,
sales, for the most part, you need a script. And there is one mission, and that's to get the cash. That's it. They're out for the kill. Eat what you kill is sales. Closing is connecting. So when you connect with clients, you build a relationship with them, and it goes for the long haul. The relationship doesn't end at the sale.
Interesting way to look at that. Okay. What if you've got, I hate to say this because it's almost like a sales term, but you got a fish on the hook. You've got somebody, they're interested. It seems like, they're dancing around a little bit. They haven't made a decision. Why don't you come back? Come back. Let's, show me more examples of your work, whatever it might be. How do you close it? What's the secret there? What's one thought to get that done?
Holding them back.
How do you mean?
You have to understand what's the reason to holding them back.
Gotcha. Yeah. And you know what? If they ask you to come back, maybe it's credibility. They don't feel comfortable just yet, but they're not throwing you out. But you need to convince them even more.
Well, it's not even convincing because they convince themselves when you close.
Interesting way to look at that, too. That goes back, I guess, to it's got to seem logical to them before they pull the trigger and move forward.
Well, Stephen, if I tell you, you'll doubt. If you tell me, it's gospel, right?
Exactly. So when you work with... How do you work with somebody? How does I know that you offer free sessions, information sessions to kind of figure out how to help more people. How does that work? Somebody reaches out to you, and by the way, share your website. What's the best way to find you?
It's closers.com/info. So what I do is I'm actually just launching the beta program, and so I will help entrepreneurs that have leads or referrals. They have of calls booked on a calendar, and I give them the closing process, and so that they understand exactly how to close leads. And then you use that strategy in order to practice, and they're going to not get it right the first time, probably not the second either. But we will do a call review, and so that I can point out exactly what to fix. And so what happens is, by the end of the 6th week, when they're going on calls, their closing ratio has to improve. And if it doesn't, I continue working with them until it does. I don't work with everybody. So you have to apply for a spot in the next program, which I'll be doing in February.
Gotcha. And how do you, when you say you don't work with everybody, is it you want to make sure it's the right fit for each?
Yes. So I'm not going to share all of my strategies and my techniques with people that are just looking to grab the cash. They have to have a valuable product in order to be able to get into my class. Like The world has enough scam artists out there.
Gotcha.
They don't need any more tools. So,
you know what? I got to tell you, I respect you for that, Calynda. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They've got to offer value, and they have to do the work too. Just even if you're working on you're improving yourself in general, there's work involved. You have to do the work. When it comes to getting leads, cold calling, is it? I didn't even get to finish the sentence. It's done, right?
I mean, I mentioned it before at the beginning of this call. No one wants to be chased.
Right.
So your definition of cold calling is different than mine. If you're trying to reach out to somebody that has no idea who you are, and you're trying to get them to buy something for you or from you, who are you working for? Whose interests do you have? It's your own. You don't know the person on the other end. You don't know if you can help them or not help them. What's the purpose? It's to get cash, right? Yep. But if you provide value and they inquire, it changes the game. If they give you their contact information, then you got something to work with. Prior to that, you're annoying people. When's the last time you wanted to talk to a telemarketer? Ever? Come on.
Yeah, would be never. And yeah, what about? I know this is going to be. I'm wondering what your answer is going to be on this, but because we live in such an impersonal world now, where everything is, type it. It's you don't even see somebody's face. What about if you have a gut feeling? You have a business and you feel you can help another business, and just literally just walking in to say hi. Just want to stop in. Had an idea, wanted to share it with you, like a face-to-face kind of feel. Not going to work every time. Would you personally completely shy against that, or say, maybe every once in a while, can't hurt?
My approach would be different. So if I actually felt that I could help somebody in that specific case, what I would do is, if it was like a walk-in, like a brick-and-mortar place, I would go in, and if I actually loved it, I would probably buy something in the store. And I would build a relationship with somebody, a salesperson, and I would get really curious about why they work there. Do they love it as much as I do? What's going on with that, right? And then if there was something right there, I'd be like, I would just really like to pass on how well you've done to the manager. Can I have their name?
Oh.
Okay. And if they gave me crappy service, it's crappy service. But if it's legitimately good service, business owners work hard. They want to hear when their employees do good. And if I tell them my honest opinion, and it has to be honest, how well their employees are doing and how I legitimately feel about their business and what I do and what I'm thinking, like if I can sit down with you for a half an hour and tell you what I do, and if it's something that you can help, you know what? Maybe we can work together. That's a very different approach. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I love your approach. But the baseline for all of that is be genuine. Don't go in there with a scheme and a plan. All right, I'm gonna reach out to Melinda over there because she's a clerk, and then I'm gonna get to the owner. You got to be genuine about it. You genuinely want to help and spread the word that this is a nice business.
Well, I mean that's sales, right? If you're going to go in there and you're going to try to strategize how to make the sale, you're in sales. Yeah. That's manipulation right from the start.
Exactly.
And people can sense it a million miles away. Like, it's used way too often. But at the end of the day, if you actually care and you actually serve, you'll never starve. That's the bottom line.
Say that one more time, Calynda, because it's so powerful.
If you actually care and you actually serve, you'll never starve.
I love that. And in that case, just what we said, you're being genuine because you really care. You're not coming off as a salesperson. You offer, if somebody wants to find the right clients and really grow their business, you have a full plan.
Yep.
And even you're also offering, I know that you have on a website, 5 mistakes that kill sales. I mean, we talked about a few of those, but it's all there on your website. And is it closersgetsales.com? Do I have that right?
closersgetsales.com/info.
Gotcha.
Yep.
What's the next step? Somebody go to the website, book a session. I know that you like to vet people out, like we said before, to make sure it's a right fit. So is it a free conversation that you have with them out of the gate?
Yes, for sure. And so what happens is when you have a conversation with me, if you tell me your specific situation, I can help you. I'll let you know the next steps and all the details of the program. If I can't help you. I'll likely give you some tips on how to fix what you're doing wrong. If you want to hear it, I don't need to be giving advice or trying to convince people for free. I got more things to do with my time.
Right.
But what I can do is if I know of a book or another resource, I can happily put them in that direction too.
Interestingly, Calynda, what you're saying is what we just talked about, because you generally want to help people. It's the same exact thing. It really is.
Well, how you do anything is how you do everything. I had a mentor once tell me that, so it's true.
And I have to ask you this final question here. The nickname, the Boom Queen.
The Boom Queen, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you get that?
Well, I'm usually the top salesperson everywhere I go, so they can't figure out what I do. And when I was in a training program a long time ago, because every time that I was doing something, I had an extremely high close rate. And when you get a sale, they called it a boom. So they called it the Boom Queen.
I love it. Yeah. Got to talk to the Boom Queen. And in my life, I remember all the salespeople that were good. And they weren't salesy. They just had this something about them. There is some confidence there, no doubt about that. But just something that business flocks to them. It's amazing how that works. But if you have the skills, if you have the information and the tactics to do it, then it's going to happen. It's like you're like a sales magnet, a closing magnet.
Well, I think that when people care, people sense it, right? You think about it. If you're in a room and somebody is giving you the weebie-jeebies, you're going to be repelled.
Yeah.
If someone is genuine, you're kind of drawn to them, right? And
it's so true. And I've always said this: people can spot a phony
a million miles away.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when entrepreneurs, and there's heart-centered entrepreneurs that are just terrified of taking money. My heart goes out to them. I can help them all day long, and I will. But the heart-centered people that just really want to help people, but they're just too scared to ask for the investment, they get taken for a ride all the time. It's the saddest story ever. And then the freebie seekers are out there grabbing everything that they can for free. It's like, come on. So I think the number one reason why I launched Closers Get Sales is to really help that heart-centered entrepreneur that's bleeding because they're giving everything and not getting anything in return.
And they're good people. It seems like, right?
Incredible. Yeah. They're the best of the best.
But you know what it is? Yeah, I think it comes down to they have everything they need. They have a great product, a great approach. They have all the passion there, but they don't know how to take the next step in terms of sales, in terms of closing the situation. They just don't know how to do it. It's almost like you have a scientist and he's created this great product, but he lives in his own little world, in terms of designing it, but he doesn't know what to do with it from that point, in terms of getting it to people and making them understand that there's value in this and somebody wants to buy into it.
1,000%.
Yeah. And you know what? There's enough free stuff on the internet. If you want to waste your time and just, troll, or maybe it's not a waste of time, you can do that. Looking for the free stuff.
I call that either busy being busy, because you're feeling like you're busy, but you're accomplishing nothing.
Right.
And learning without earning. One of the two. Because, your first Facebook post is going to lead to the next Facebook post, and then, your day's going to be gone and you're going to be broke. That's just the way it is.
Right.
But if you can stay focused and serve, you get further faster, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like you just said, it feels like you're doing the right thing when you're doing that, but it's not custom tailored to what you're trying to accomplish. And that's where you come in, because you're going to find out what somebody's goals are and get it done and help them close. So closersgetsales.com is the website. Go there. Super simple. It's basically a one-page website where you can get started and start the process. And Calynda, great talking with you.
Great talking with you too.
This stuff fires me up. And why? Because I struggle with it. I do. Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe you have to book a call.
Yeah. And I tell everybody this. I'm not a salesperson. I got something of value to offer. I've got passion. I want to help, but I loathe sales. I hate even saying that, but I do. It's just not my thing, but it's part of of moving your business forward, where you know, even if you are the most genuine person in the world, you have to think like your customer thinks or potential customer thinks to get it done. And a lot of us don't have that skill. We need to learn it.
It's teachable, but
Yep.
it also makes a big difference because you don't actually feel like you're selling, right? So
Yep.
when you can get rid of everything that makes you feel like you're trying to manipulate somebody, then what happens is you get addicted to serving people, and it's a totally different approach.
100%.
Then you become the hunted, which is a good place to be.
Oh yeah. Let the leads come to you. Closersgetsales.com.
.com/info. Yep.
Beautiful. Calynda, great talking with you. And
Great talking to you.
yeah, lots to talk about. I hope we get a chance to get together sometime soon.
You betcha.
All right. Appreciate
Thanks so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council. The Ad Council.